Prosperous blessings and welcome to the second of a four-part series of delving into this wondrous book, Money Magic by Jessica Susanna Knatz. Yes, I'm sure I pronounced her name correctly. I love her as an author, what she's writing about, bringing money into the top of our awareness and consciousness and opening this topic up as an opportunity for deep healing for our lives, healing our finances. Why would we want to do this? This is what she talks about. Why do we need to do this? Why are we being called to do this? Because it's our birthright to take responsibility within ourselves, to opening up, to looking at not only how we are magnetizing and drawing money into our experience, how we're managing this and then multiplying this also. In this second week, we're going to be looking at the second and third parts of her process. She says that we all deserve a process, and sometimes it's so hard to get into the idea of being that responsible guardian for our finances because we don't have a process, we don't have something to follow. And so this is what she offers throughout the book. Of course, there are amazing practices that she recommends, and some of them are, very, very different and allow us to use tarot cards and art and creativity and mindful journaling and crystals. And she talks about astrology. And of course, God is expressing in, as, and through all of it. So for me, it's just opening me up to that creative side of spirituality and knowing that, yes, sometimes I need to hear it in a different way and to feel it in a different way and to get excited about using these spiritual tools in different ways. So I'm going to share my screen again as I have created some slides. And hopefully that you can see that. And week 2 is really about let's let go of being polite. Let's get real and get raw and get to that place where it may not feel amazing. It may not feel amazing to face what we're looking at when we look at the bank account and think, oh my gosh, what's happening? And yet it's time to really be honest, be authentic, be truthful with ourselves, and to stop playing this kind of game within ourselves where we're making out that everything's okay when it isn't. She's asking us to get real, to uncover those places that might feel scary because, of course, as I talked about last week, she talks about shame a lot and emotions and feelings, and really healing the feelings is what she's all about. So we're being called to stop being polite, to start getting real, and to open up to what the choices that we've made in the past and how we can do things differently in order to create an accurate map of how to get to where you want to go. You have got to fully identify your current location. And that's true, isn't it? I mean, so many times, if I think about it, if you're in a car driving and you want to go somewhere, or you want to get a bus or a train or a plane somewhere, we've got to know where we're going. We don't just get in and go anywhere, unless, of course, we're feeling like just meandering around. But if we have a destination, we know where we're going. That's the same as setting an intention. When we set an intention or speak our word into the creative law, we are actually telling life what it is that we want. And she's saying, let's get real, let's get truthful and honest and open up in order to create an accurate map of how to get where you want to go. You've got to fully identify your current location. What is going on underneath it all? What are the pieces and the parts that maybe you're hiding? Maybe you're telling yourself a story or making it feel okay just for the moment so that it sounds good to yourself or another. Jessica's really inviting us to get real here and be honest with ourselves. And I know for me that when I'm honest with my finances, with myself, I feel clearer, I feel lighter, I feel as if I've maybe just kind of a weight has been lifted from my shoulders because I'm being open with myself. And from that place, I can make decisions, I can make choices, I can be that agent for change rather than trying to cover up and pretend as if this situation isn't happening when it is. There are so many lenses through which to observe ourselves. Money, I've made a little spelling error there. Money is a lens we don't always incorporate on the journey of self-awareness. And I believe that what she's saying is here that if we really look at our lives through the eyes of money, or look at money through the eyes of love, we can see where we have made choices that haven't been as supportive as we would like them to have been. Because we know that when we set an intention, whatever it is, consciously or subconsciously, that is going to ripple out. That is going to be the trajectory of what shows up in the world of effect. And very often we're making these choices from a subconscious place. We're not fully aware because we haven't had the education or the role modeling, or we haven't had a growing up, you know, that solid example for our lives maybe. And so we're just fumbling around in the dark a lot of the time. And with money, it's such an emotional topic. It's so emotive. It brings up so many feelings. And what I believe Jessica is asking us to do, or inviting us to do right here, is to absolutely zone in on those feelings and emotions and do something about it without separating them. They're not separate from money. Money is just bringing up the emotions so that we can do the healing and live a more fulfilled experience. Isn't that amazing? If we think about money as something that really, it's not got an agenda itself. It hasn't got an emotion in itself. It's not good or bad. It's what we're placing on it. It's the idea that we're placing onto it. That's where we get to do the healing work around those ideas. It's a wonderful opportunity for revealing truth within ourselves and using money through as that lens for that healing opportunity. It's very powerful, very powerful. Think right now about what you're feeling about money and whatever that feeling is. And you may say, oh, money's wonderful. And yet underneath that, there may be other things going on, other stories you're telling yourself. And from there, you can do the healing work. And that will open you up to prosperity coming from all sorts of different avenues and ideas and inspirations that you would never have realized even existed. So the nuts and bolts of finances are to be honest with ourselves, where we are at, and about what we don't know. Really admitting to ourselves, actually, I would like to learn more, to understand what it means to create a living will, to understand more about insurance policies, to understand more about how to save with intention. It's good to say what we do know, and it's good to also be honest about where there are spaces for learning, opportunities for learning for our lives. And the more we know, that information, of course, is powerful. And really, it's powerful when we put it into action, when we use the information and start to channel it in ways that are really supportive for our lives. So it's almost like wiping the slate clean and doing it again and being proud of that. Absolutely saying, yes, I'm going to do this for my life. I'm going to take charge. I'm going to be that agent for change. There can be shame and guilt a lot, I think, around this, where we may feel inadequate or that we haven't been taught or shown and you know, how to handle our finances. And that can also leave us with a feeling of not feeling good enough. And let's face it, we didn't all have savvy role models. We've had to learn it. It's an education that isn't even always taught in schools. We're not taught about money in schools. We're taught maths. We're taught how to add up, how to subtract. But I know when I was at school, you know, I'm 58 now, so that was quite a few years ago. I was not taught about finances, how to handle finances, what money means, and how to manage a flow of money in my life. At any point was I taught that at school. So we are learning on the go. There's that incredible saying that I've heard recently, you know, we're flying the plane and building the wings at the same time. And for many of us, that is what we're doing with our financial situations. So the goal, Jessica says, is to have no area of your life that you need to hide from. Oh, it's very liberating to have that sense of honesty and to feel that you can have that conversation within yourself about money, about finances, and to be honest with it, to journal, you know, to ask pertinent questions. How would my life be different if I took that choice to learn more about managing money? There's one exercise that she gives here that I know that I have done many a time, and I think it's a really empowering exercise in the book at this point, where she invites us to draw a timeline. And maybe you can do this if you like, to draw a timeline, and from zero, you could do it from before the year of zero, before you were born, if you like, if there's some history you know about or have tapped into, up until now in your life. And she invites this timeline of how money has affected our lives in different ways, whether it's good or bad, whether we've experienced, you know, severe debt, whether we've experienced financial dependency, whether we've experienced really high amounts of money coming into our lives, whether we've experienced emotional trauma around money situations with relationships, family, children, whatever, job security, bankruptcy. She asks us to draw this out as a life timeline, and to then really, you know, do the healing work around these situations, because we're carrying the patterning of this in our lives. We're carrying it up until this point, until we heal it. We heal it to reveal it and to know the truth. And sometimes we can get to, I mean, I did this exercise and I got to this place where I was shown that there was a level of trust that I could heal, you know, understanding what trust really means with myself and money. So it's a really empowering thing to do. For me, I found it really beneficial because I've done a lot of these kind of exercises. And of course, I always want to do more, because I always want to discover more of how I can have a healthy relationship with myself, with money, and with others. I'll just go back to screen sharing here, and I'm just going to invite us to take a breath, because I've shared quite a lot for the moment. And just to pause, and I just would like to affirm and to let you know that you're safe and everything is fine, and that whatever you might be feeling at this time is absolutely perfect, because none of us have got it absolutely right. I mean, I know of people that have experienced a lot of wealth and a lot of money, and they may not have been as happy as they would like to have been. Money isn't the object here. This book is not about being able to, you know, have vast amounts or vast sums of money coming into our lives and then not feeling fulfilled or feeling as if we're living a meaningful life. I believe that the intention of this book really deeply is that she's inviting us to look at money as a healing agent for our lives. So where we feel that we're not actually at that point that we want to be financially, that we can do the healing around it. And then as we do that, all areas of our lives will have this immense light shining through more fully, because we can't separate any of it. It's all one. And if we're holding resentment or fear or guilt or doubt in one area of our life, of course, that's going to ripple into all areas of our lives. We want to have this, get to this place where we feel good in all ways, and we feel safe and supported in all ways. Money is one of these areas, and it brings up a lot of emotional opportunity for healing. So activating compassion is really, really powerful and really important. Being compassionate towards ourselves, a compassionate observer, and being aware of when we're speaking down to ourselves, when we're making excuses or feeling not good enough or not worthy enough. Journaling on this and keeping a kind of moment by moment awareness of this in our minds and in our hearts can be really useful. And awareness, of course, means stepping back, being aware from that observational place rather than judgment. Because, of course, when we're judging ourselves, we're punishing ourselves. And that's where the shame comes in, and that loop that I talked about last week of guilt and humility and dignity and shame, where we're not serving ourselves fully. So I'm just inviting you and me right now to love ourselves through this process, to be compassionate and open and willing to do the healing without the judgment, just allowing this to be, knowing that in this moment we can learn anew and we can make new choices. And that's the exciting part. We can make new choices for our lives that are really profound, because they will ripple out or wave out as beautiful, beautiful new intentions for our lives. Jessica talks about doing healing work from an inner and an outer landscape. And she outlines many ways in which we can work on our inner world and our outer world. I love this about what she's sharing here, because she's saying, you know, there's not only inner work to do. We have to do those pieces outside. Last week, we looked at, you know, getting our money in order, or our money mechanics in order. So here she's really talking about this outer world of money as taking inventory of your story, looking at the income, looking at the spending, looking at the debt, assets, credit reports, all of those things that maybe that part of us might think, oh my gosh, this is boring. If we're creative and not so logical, it could be overwhelming to have to get a spreadsheet out. And yet she's saying, come on, this is part of it. This is part of growing up and into taking responsibility and seeing it on paper and making it as accessible and as easy to follow as possible. So getting clear is really important. Clarity, I believe, is what she's talking about in this chapter here. And then from an inner world perspective, you know, looking at our behaviors and our feelings and tuning into our body. Where are we feeling it in our body? You know, when we talk about money, or when we have situations with money, whatever they are, whether it's bills or debts, or, you know, owing money to people, where are we feeling it in our bodies? Where is that restriction and constriction? And speaking, having that body speak, you know, really tuning in to our bodies. I think we really bypass this in a lot of spiritual work, where the body doesn't become important as a tool to identify with what's going on in our lives. And so she's inviting here just to really honor our bodies, honor the body of ourselves as spirit, soul, and listen to what it is that we're being shown. To look at our history and take into consideration our learning style. You know, are we kinesthetic, or how do we learn? Auditory, visual. You know, make money fun. Enjoy the process of being with money. Find a bank account and a savings account that is very intuitive to your learning style. Reflect upon your thoughts and beliefs and biases about money. She talks about social and cultural differences, and she talks a lot about actually honoring those and figuring out what you want. You know, we hear this a lot in spiritual community and in science of mind. You know, we've got to know what we want. When we know what we want, we're telling the creative law, we're telling life what it is that we want. And money needs a direction. Money wants to fulfill us, not just because it's money, but because we need to know what we want and what we want it for. And this is a time to be bold and to really, to really enjoy the process of being creative and discovering what it is that we truly, truly want for our lives. Why is it that we find it so difficult to own what we desire? It's almost as if there's guilt or shame in that. And yet, it's like walking into a toy shop as a child and seeing all of the possibilities of toys and not knowing which one to pick because of fear of making a mistake, maybe, or because of fear of choosing the wrong toy. And yet we can always put that toy back and choose another one. So let's get intentional about what it is that we want for our lives, about the amount of money that we see flowing in and as and through our experience, and owning that and embracing that with no shame and no guilt, and looking at all of the emotions that might get in the way and cause those limitations and those blocks. It's time to release those. It's time to dissolve them. And it's time to know the power of who we truly are and to work it. There's another piece that I would like to just talk about for a couple of minutes here before we come to a close, where Jessica talks about the subconscious. And this is really important because we know that so many of our beliefs are actually stored, well, 99% of what it is being stored in our subconscious. And we're not fully aware always of all of these thoughts and all of these beliefs that we have. How could we be? We've stored them since childhood, and we're living them as patterns and programs and habits that we're not even always aware of. So letting ourselves acknowledge and see that we want something will actually stop our subconscious mind from getting in the mix and messing it all up. I love what she says here. It's allowed me to see this and think of it in a different way. And of course, she's right. When we say what it is that we want, then we're telling life and we're telling our brain, we're sending that neural message to our brain. We're re-hardwiring, if you like. We're creating new neural pathways, and we will then start searching for that subconsciously as well. The brain will start seeking for that, for our experience. So being clear is really important, and doing all of the work that we know, the visualizing and visioning and meditating and prayer and creating financial authority. It's so important. And I've talked about this with the financial timeline and family beliefs that's gone into that spot there. But knowing what we want and how to communicate it clearly and in a loving but boundaried way is a gift not only to ourselves, but to those around us. So often when we're in a relationship with others or with our children or parents or with ourselves, friends, there is a stigma around feeling that we want something or we desire something for our lives. And even that can feel like, oh my gosh, do I really deserve it? How will people accept me if I'm saying this is what I want for my life? There's that whole social construct and conditioning of overstepping our parents or doing better than others in our family, and that will also place shame on them or embarrassment. And so we keep ourselves small. So she's really inviting us to open up here and to listen to our hearts and be clear with what it is that we choose and what we want and what we desire for our lives. There's no room for being polite anymore, to keep ourselves small so that it serves others. And subconsciously, we do this. We keep ourselves in a smaller space with a smaller desire because it might rock the boat. And that's scary because others then might not like it. And then we find ourselves in a situation where we're having to justify our lives and justify what it is that we want. Jessica's inviting us to say, come on, I'm here. I'm owning this. I'm claiming it. And money is a part of this. I'm going to do the healing around it so that I open up and express myself and live a more fulfilled, loving, love-filled, and a richer experience of this life. This is week 2 of Money Magic, and I'm just feeling so grateful and thankful to be doing this and to be sharing it with you. I will be back for week 3 next week. And in the meanwhile, really look at what it is that you desire for your life and be clear and be honest with yourself. No need to be polite anymore. Be true to you. Authenticity is absolutely the name of the game right here and right now, because you deserve to do the healing for your life, to live that fuller and greater expression of a prosperous life. Love and blessings to you, and I will see you back here next week with more Money Magic.
When you're done with the pain, you can't take it anymore. Look up, look higher, look deeper. When you know it's the end and pain's your only friend, look up, look higher, look deeper. One more try, one more day, one more move to a better day. Close your eyes one more time. Say the words and you will fly. When frustration sets in and you cannot see the end, look up, look higher, look deeper. When you wanna run and shout, but you know you can't reach out, look up, look higher, look deeper. One more try, one more day, one more move to a better day. Close your eyes one more time. Say the words and you will fly. You'll fly. I'm no longer in pain. I'm whole again. I'm
Here at Center for Spiritual Living Greater Las Vegas, we are a mission and vision-driven community. We offer transformative educational opportunities, deep and meaningful moments of connection, uplifting Wednesday and Sunday services. We greatly appreciate your contributions that support the amazing work we're doing here in Southern Nevada. We have several easy ways you can contribute. We have text to give. Simply text the amount of your donation to our text to give number and you'll be prompted to enter your information. There's a link to our online donation page posted below this video where you can contribute by debit or credit card. And of course, you're always welcome to send a check to our office if that works better for you. All of your contributions go to support the great work that we're doing here in Greater Las Vegas community.
The monthly publication, Science of Mind magazine, is a treasure to be read and contemplated. Along with in-depth articles, there is a day-to-day spiritual support to be gleaned from its daily guides. Licensed practitioner Lynn Frankenberger hosts Adventures in Faith every Tuesday at 11 a.m. on Zoom, and you're invited to join in. This is a weekly group discussion that focuses on those daily guides and how to apply them. Check Facebook and our weekly newsletter for more details. CSL Greater Las Vegas brings you much of your favorite spiritual music every Friday at 7 p.m. with spiritual soundscapes. Enjoy performances from CSLGLV vocalists along with special guest singers. It's music for your soul. Subscribe to the CSLGLV YouTube channel to get a convenient link sent to you for each musical performance. At CSL Greater Las Vegas, it is our mission to inspire spiritual discovery through community connection, exploration, and celebration. This mission supports the all-inclusive vision of Centers for Spiritual Living worldwide, in which we envision a world that works for everyone and all of creation.